Good. Alright, welcome back to Rob's Garage Woodworking. Today we've got a low-profile, compact, double cyclone separator. I know it sounds crazy. The reason I needed one of these, I actually had larger single cyclone separators. I used 2 SHOP VACs in the workshop, and I need this, actually this whole thing with the buckets underneath it, to fit in this space right here. Alright, now it's a mess right there right now, but that's where it's going to go. So this is what I need this a little bit smaller for. Okay, so I made it a little different than my other ones. Okay, the overall dimensions are 13 3/4 inch wide, 27 1/2 inches long, and 4 7/8 inch deep. That's total. That's with the lid on. And here's the lid right here. Alright, so that's it total. Okay, now, so we're going to start talking about the bottom plate first. The bottom plate is 5 inches thick MDF, and what you do is you want to route out this dado. Okay, it's underneath this weather stripping that I've added. So you want to route out this 1/2 inch dado, and it is the distance diameter is 11 3/4 to 12 1/4 inches, okay? And that fits over top of your bucket. Now, after you route that out, then what you want to do is cut out the dropout channel, and the dropout channel is this right here. See that? This is where the air comes in here at the port. It comes through. It cycles around and it works its way into the middle where it's sucked into your SHOP VAC. So what happens is the dust comes around, it spins, and it falls out here, obviously, because it sits like this. So it falls out through this dropout channel. Now the dropout channel is 1/8 inch to 1 1/8 inch to 1 1/4 inch wide. Okay, and it starts at 12 o'clock. So let's say this is the top here. This is where your input comes in. This is 12 o'clock, right, on your clock. And it's 220 degrees to this point, which is right where your vacuum input is, okay? And the reason that you have this space here is that it actually slows down the airflow. Alright? Pretty neat, eh? So, that's it. That's the inside. Now, the sides, these holes here, what I've done for the middle section, okay, is the middle section is actually 5 pieces of 3/4 inch particle board. Let's see here. 5 pieces altogether. Now, I use the particle board. It's a little cheaper, a little bit different than my other design. I just wanted to change it up a little bit, try something new, and make it a little bit smaller. So originally what I did was I put all 5 pieces together, and I temporarily attached them with a couple of screws, and then mark the location of the circle, right? So you want to mark the location of where the circle is, and after I mark the center for each one, then you have to mark for this hole. So what you want to do, you can see what I've done here. Right where the edge of the hole is, you mark that all the way up, and then you transfer that over along here, along this edge. Transfer it along, and that way, when you cut this out, you have to drill through it from the top. So before you even cut your circles out, you have to drill through from the top. So I used a 2-inch bit, and it was really hard to do because my drill press is a little smaller, so I couldn't fit it this way. But if you have a drill press and you can put this whole thing under a drill press and drill down, it's much simpler. Okay, because drilling this freehand was really ugly. But I managed to do it. So you drill those 2 holes, and that's for your vac pipe. You use central vac pipe and central vac tubing. That fits really well with your SHOP VAC, because your SHOP VAC tubing is also 2 inches, or even smaller sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Alright, so after you drill those 2, then you can take this whole thing and you can take it all apart. So you separate your 5 pieces. Then what you'd want to do for this is actually have like a circle cutting jig. Maybe even set up like a template. You put your template, cut out your template, and then use a router with a like a tracer bit and cut each one perfectly the same. That way when you're finished here, you've got to line all these pieces up, and if they don't line up very well, then you've got to sand them all smooth, and that's really a pain in the butt. Okay, that's something that I found out after. And what I did was I sanded it smooth with my spindle sander, which is right here. I used my spindle sander and sanded the whole thing after I put it back together. So I glued it and screwed it. Then after I glued it and screwed it, if you want to come over here, buddy. These tubes here, that's the central vac tube. So what I did was I cut that to size, and I left like 1/2 inch extra, the 1/2 inch extra sticking out. So what you do with that is you take your tube. So you take your tube, and I just cut it on an angle a little bit just to give it a little extra adhesion. Put some PL Premium, which is construction adhesive. So you put the PL Premium on this part, you jam it into the hole, you wipe off any excess with like a rag, leave a little bit sticking out, and that way you can put on your elbow. So a little bit sticking out, you stick your elbow onto it. Oops. Like so. Right? Now you don't need to use an elbow. For mine, I want it out of the way, so I'm actually going to have the vacuum come up from the top, so I put an elbow on it. So that is the middle section. What else do I have here? Okay. And these, okay, I use PL Premium to put this into the wood, but the PVC, you use PVC cement, okay, and that is what glues your central vac tubing together. Alright, so the top plate. What I did with the top plate is I found the centers for each one. I drilled a 2-inch hole, again, for the central vac tubing. And this is like a sandwich if you look at it this way. So you've got a piece of tubing inside, and then a plumbing or a central vac coupler here, an extension coupler on this side. I do have a little bit of a demonstration. We're going to put the lid on, we're going to hook it up to the shop vacs, and we are going to vacuum up this whole bucket full of dust. Okay. What we want to do is show that the inside of the buckets are relatively clean, the shop vacs. Okay, my main shop vac is really dirty obviously, but the filter's clean. And all that dirt is stuck in the bottom. The other one is like new because this is all I use it for, is the dust extraction. Alright, then we'll hook up the hoses. Okay. You're recording now? Yes. Alright, so these are plumbing couplers, okay, and they'll hook onto the elbows or onto the straight pieces of tubing. Okay. They're like 2-inch plumbing couplers. You can get them from anywhere. So you can just fit the hose into them. You can fit them so you can pull the hoses out, or you can just tighten them down so that they don't come out at all. So what we've done is the top part is what fits into your shop vac. It's right here, goes right to here, to the center. Now these parts here, there it goes to the hose where it's going to suck up the dust. Okay. So, like I said, these ones are pointing up because of the way that they're going to be set up for me later. So you saw the inside of the shop vac, you see the great big pile on the floor. That's one full bucket. And I turn these on, and we're going to suck it up and we're going to try this out and see if it actually works, which I'm really hoping that it does, because it'd be embarrassing if it didn't. So, let's see how we did. First we'll check the vacs, see if there's anything in the vac. Oh, a little bit of dust in the vac this time. Okay. Now, the reason that you get this much dust in, either you have to make some minor adjustments. Alright, so the final word on these. This one we used for the larger vac, and we are at just a little more than 2 1/4 inches. Just a touch more. Almost 2 3/8 actually. And the other one, a little bit larger here, almost at 3 1/8. Okay, for that length for the smaller shop vac. So what it does is it just limits the amount of airflow it takes in. It doesn't take the air from up at the top, it takes it from right down at the bottom. Okay, and that allows the dust that spins around here to just kind of settle down. So, anyway, that took a while, but like I say, these adjustments are necessary.